Well, Trey, welcome to LetsDoHumans podcast, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, how's it feeling?
Finally good to be here, man.
Yeah.
You see it on YouTube all the time, so it's finally good to actually be here.
Do you know, it's funny to hear that all the time, because like I still consider myself as a newbie, you know what I mean? Because I only got like 14 episodes, and I'm like planning to have like 1,000 episodes or thousands and thousands upon episodes. So when people do say I've been watching you on YouTube, I'm always like, am I one of those guys now? It's like a strange feeling, innit? I'm a YouTuber, bro. Like whatever. Soon I'm gonna start selling products and makeup and whatever it is, man.
you know the link in the description.
I know, link in the description, and you know what I mean. I've got the handle just right here, man.
All of that, man.
But yeah, man, it's a pleasure to have you on here, man.
Appreciate that.
I mean, I've been checking out your music recently since we started speaking and stuff like that, and you hollered at me, and I really like your content because you're like a real rapper, and there's more to you than just the music, which is amazing. So before we get cracking, do you mind just telling the people what you're about and like who is Tray?
Yeah, sure, man. So my name's Tray Avlon. I'm a rapper from Dagenham.
East side.
Yeah. Born in Jamaica. Came here when I was 4.
Oh, sick.
And yeah, man, I've lived a long life, so I've got a nice story to tell.
Yeah,
and,
amazing.
Yeah, man, that's me.
Yeah. Do you know what, yeah, before we get started as well, I was watching a couple of your videos, just to kind of like refresh my mind before you got on here. Yeah. And I was watching Back It Up, and like, to me, to me, that's my ideal of if I was to be a rapper, that's the type of video I want to be in. Do you know what I mean? Can you describe to the people what Back It Up is about and what the video like?
So Back It Up is a single off my EP, All Winter, and Back It Up's just a typical party song. Yeah. Back It Up, kind of self-explanatory.
But what's the vibe though? What's the vibe in the video? You're saying back it up, but what's the vibe in the video like?
Alright, so look, let me set a scene.
Let's set the scene. Let's hear this.
Let me get comfy. So, imagine you go out to the maddest rave, and I don't know, you see just one sweet one.
Yeah, I saw a couple sweet ones in your video, but yeah, go on.
Yeah, so boom, you just get one sweet one, and you're just like, yo, I was waiting to back it up. Like, I'm the man. Yeah. I'm the man for the night. Yeah. You're the woman for the night.
Nice.
Maybe more. And yeah, man, just let's have some fun.
Yeah.
And that's just all it is, really, man. Me being Jamaican, obviously I had to throw a little pepper on it. But yeah, man, let's back it up, man. Just self-explanatory.
Sick.
Good vibe party tune.
So does the Jamaican side play a lot, like, has a lot of influence in your music?
Yeah, 100%, man. Car, like, they're even now, like I'm saying, car.
Yeah, just come straight out,
So, like, the households, like, I can't really run away from it. That's just, I'm proper, I guess, patriotic to where I'm from. But yeah, man, like, the Jamaican influence is, like, heavy in the music in terms of, like, my choice of words. Yeah. Maybe the way I deliver. Even sometimes the way I perform, it's similar to some performance I watched growing up. Yeah. Like there's a stage show in Jamaica called Sting.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So there are things that I grew up listening, watching, and obviously I've got musicians in my family, so it just can't really run away from me. So the Jamaican thing is strong.
It's strong in the. You know, it's funny. I mean, I'm African, but reggae is probably one of my most favorite genres of music. Like,
from the Bob Marley,
Bob Marley. I mean, I'm a pure Chronics guy. I know the people can't tell, but right now on the screen we've got Bob Marley live session playing. I just absolutely love the man. Yeah. I mean, I travelled to I think it was Seville about 3 years ago. One of my friends live out there, so we went on a little road trip on the southern part of Seville. Dope. And we went off to a reggae festival called Coba del Plata. I know the Spanish people are going to be thinking he's pronouncing it wrong now, but it's in the southern part of Spain. So we drove all across there, and then there was all these like various reggae artists there from all across the world. Yeah, like it just transcends all all races, creeds, genres, and so forth. And Chronix was actually headlining it, and it was out of this world. You had like a crowd full of about 90,000 people. About 85% was just pure white people with dreadlocks, and the rest were like a mixture of blacks and Asians and so forth. And it was like the most amazing vibe ever. And that's what reggae gives you. And I just love that part of reggae. It's just like, it just transcends everything. It's very universal. Almost like how Afrobeats is kind of taking over the scene at the moment.
I'm not Afrobeats guy.
You're not Afrobeats guy?
Nah, I try so hard, but...
Yeah, what is it about it that's not like clicking with you?
I don't know. I really don't know, man. Yo, I don't know.
Let's start the African versus Jamaican beat there. By the way, these streets that I'm shooting on there right now, Tray brought these to me because, he turned up a bit late in it, so he has to bribe me with some sweets.
You know, we come with good offerings.
100%, appreciate
good vibes, man. But I don't know the thing about Afrobeat, you know. It just hasn't got to me. I don't know why.
You're not the dancing type of person, though. Like,
no, I'm Jamaican. Like, man, I love to, like, obviously I'm not no Chris Brown dancer. But, like, I love to have a good time. Yeah, of course. And but there are some Afrobeat tunes I'm like, yo, like, this is making it on a wedding playlist, like 100%.
Oh, for real, yeah.
But I don't know.
Who you feeling? Is it like the usual, the Burners and Wizkids and stuff?
Yeah, Burna Boy is hard. Wizkid's hard. You know what? There was one guy, I forgot his name. He made a tune, Jack Sparrow. I don't know his name.
Sparrow.
I can't even. Don't even try to get me to recite.
I was waiting for you to sing it.
Yeah, no, but yeah, like I'm not too familiar with the goings on, but obviously the main names.
Yeah, 100%.
They're people that I like, but there's one guy in particular.
Yeah.
I like Stonebwoy too.
Stonebwoy's
he's
hard.
got like more of a dancehall vibe.
Yeah, there's a lot of those in Ghana. I'm Ghanaian.
Yeah.
I was born there actually. Yeah, Stonebwoy and Shatawale, they're more like the dancehall-y Afrobeats type of vibe, yeah.
Obviously, yeah. So then I do like their stuff, cause I like Stonebwoy. But yeah, man, I'm not too well versed, but there are one or two songs that can 100% make it to the playlist.
Oh, sick.
100.
So you said you got family members that are into music. Who's that? Do you mind telling me a bit about your family and stuff?
So, well, specifically, I was thinking like more so my uncles.
Oh,
so one of my uncles, he's like a reggae artist. Yeah. He's not active at the moment, but yeah, he on my dad's side, he's my brother's my dad's brother, and yeah, he was very like active and prominent in his little community. So he's from like Sav Lamar in Jamaica, and yeah, he was like really big within his little community before he moved to the States.
So it's like a local superstar. Yeah.
Yo, that's the first time I ever witnessed anything that was
for real.
Like, it was mad.
Yeah.
Like,
was this when you were out there when you?
Yeah. So obviously I came here when I was 4, and then I didn't go back until I was like 11. Yeah. So, but yeah, so when I went back, that's when like he was really like the man in the area.
Oh, for real.
And then just
like the groupies, the whole shebang. Yo, not to expose Uncle here.
Nah, he's a good man. Good man.
Yeah.
Don't want to get
but the love was real though, yeah.
Love was very real, man. That's the first time I ever saw anything. But obviously, there are certain people in the UK that are quite, that at the time were really established too, that I used to be around. So just soaking everything in and taking it all in. Like being over here, but was one thing where I was like, being around certain artists, I was like, oh shit. Like it's actually real. Like, you know, when you see stuff on TV, but my uncle was a whole different thing. I've never seen that anything like
for real. And at that young age, that's when we soak up most things in it. That's when we get our inspiration and our direction as well.
100%.
So seeing that from your uncle must definitely like played a role in your own musical journey as well.
Yeah, it was weird for me because obviously when you're like, I guess when you're so close to something or someone, you almost just, you don't see the star, you just see the person.
It's just uncle whatever,
it's just uncle, man. Like, get me. So you don't really see all that, but obviously it was a real learning. What's that?
Learning curve.
That's the one. Because it really taught me about perception. That was the first time I actually realized how people see you is so different to how you kind of see the world. And
that's very true. That is very true.
Because you just assume that everyone sees things the way you do. And for the first time, I actually thought, I see uncle, but they see
superstar,
and I was like, oh shit,
that's such a weird thing, and I can actually relate to that to a certain extent, because sometimes there's family members that other people, like for instance, both my parents are like they people of the color, so they priests. So they're both priests, but both my parents are like ordained. And I know it's weird, isn't it? It's mad, because the way that the world sees them and their perception of them is like these guys, and they don't have any personas or personalities outside of the realm of what they're doing. But at home, I'm like Popsy, he has banter, he's on jokes. Mumsy's cool and that. Like, do you know what I mean? I nitpick at them, I banter them, whatever. But to the world, it's like, whoa. Do you know what I mean? And perception is mad, and that can almost be played upon and used as part of your tool to like do whatever it is you're doing as a musician or as any form of artist. Yeah.
You know what's weird? Because I remember one of my RE teachers. She's like, she had a profound effect on me when I was in school, and she was like a Muslim lady, like Asian Muslim lady, but the way she was so welcoming, warm, it was like you don't necessarily expect her to be the way she is, and just to talk so freely to her about anything, it's like, it's amazing that it wasn't like race or religion. There was no barrier to entry. It was just person to person.
It was just that human, isn't it? Yeah.
And it's amazing to see, no matter whether you're like religious or what. Are you religious, by any chance?
Yeah, I'm a Christian.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, definitely hit you. But so going back to your musical journey, can you just tell me a bit more about like how you got into writing and when you discovered writing in the first place? Because I mean, growing up in East London, everyone rapped at one point. Like I used to rap, you know what I mean? I've been there, don't get twisted. I mean, I'm an East boy. I grew up in like Forest Gate, Stratford side. So it's like being in secondary school, everyone was always in a circle where we were like battling, clashing, going home, writing bars. There was even a time I actually had a studio, funny enough, and I was even a part of like a label and everything. Like I've done the full shebang.
What don't you do?
You know what? Yeah, the list is long. The list is long. I've lived. I'm like classify myself as a modern day Renaissance man. But it's remembering that first time when you decided to write, or when you thought you had a talent for writing. When did that click?
I don't think it has. It's still. I don't know. You know, when it's so natural, you don't see it as anything. I don't really recognize it as like a gift, but I started writing when I was 11.
Oh, sick.
But I didn't really know what I was doing, to be honest. I didn't know that I was writing songs or whatever. I just felt that obviously my dad being a super hip hop head, he kind of pushed me into music, and then that kind of was the segue into, okay, I'm listening to it, but how do they do it?
Yeah.
And then I went from listening to understanding how they did it, and then trying to replicate how they did it, and then from there I went and I went on and on and on. And when I was in school, I was in like a little collective, and then we did the whole like Channel U stuff.
Oh, no way.
And I ain't gonna talk about it.
wait, hold on a minute. Wait, so you legit had a video on Channel U?
Yeah.
Well, you're not gonna drop the name in that. You don't want me to put the handle in the description?
Yeah, the bio.
No way.
We're YouTubers now.
What was it, like rapping, or was it grime?
Yeah,
or was
so
it original?
I was in a grime rap collective.
Okay, shit.
And we were under the wing of like another prominent like UK act at the time.
Oh, okay.
And it's still prominent now, to be fair. And we were all school friends, but we all kind of went in separate directions, like uni.
Yeah. Life kicks in, and then that decision making.
And then after I finished uni, I had just kind of repackaged, rebranded, and then kind of built my own thing. And
sick.
Now I'm like here, I guess.
Yeah. Where did that rebranding come from, though? Is that like a case of you growing out of what you used to be? So it's like you're shedding the skin of the past, or was it like did you actively think about it to say, okay, now this is the direction I want to go in, this is the persona I want to put out there, and this is who I am? So
yeah, because I think I realized from early that like my ambition's to be the best artist in the country, but my purpose is to like challenge and inspire other people to to kind of push the boundaries in terms of self-awareness and emotional intelligence. So I realized from early that my purpose, ambition, and my ambition are two different things. And I thought to myself, all right, cool. So if I have to compete amongst everyone in this space, knowing what my purpose and ambition is, what do I have to do and how do I have to do it? And I kind of thought to myself, all right, cool. So I need to almost build a team around myself. I need to do, once I build the team, I need to do this. Once I do that, I need to do that. And it kind of, there was an element of, okay, knocking the house down and rebuilding it.
Rebuilding, yeah, destroy and rebuild.
Like, in order to get to where I need to get to, I can't do it with the tools that I had. So I had to sit down and rethink how I want to go about it, what sort of music I want to make, how do I want to... There was a lot of room for growth and discovery. And
sorry, before we continue,
sure.
You can talk about. I just need to move this to the side of it because I think it's covering your face.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Cover your face too much, isn't it? There we go.
Yeah, so you know what? I'm gonna change the word. It's not rebranding. It was more so like discovering who I was,
who you were, as
time went on, and that's just all it was. I had like an eclectic taste growing up, and man, I'm just into different shit. So when I experienced more, I made different styles of music. I traveled and then I came back, had different stories to tell. I experienced
100%.
all this other stuff, and I kind of emulate people that aren't just musicians; they do business. So like the Jay-Z's, the Birdmans, the Chameleons, like even remember that guy Mims? Like
I remember Mims.
Even him, like what he's doing.
Where's he now? Because I lost track of him. Yeah.
So he does tech now. So he works in the tech space. Yeah. And I think watching people like that, I think I am like very much inspired by the business moves of some of those people. And yeah, man, I'm like, I want to be bigger than just being a rapper.
100%. There's so much more out there to give. But you talk a lot about self-awareness and emotional intelligence. What is that to you, though? What is self-awareness?
Self-awareness, I think the way I rationalize it or I explain it is, imagine you're a person that sees the world as just black and white. I think being self-aware is being able to see the nuances in life. Yeah. And understanding how to use those nuances to your advantage. That's self-awareness to me. So, for example, if I know exactly how I'm feeling right now, and I know how to articulate it and tell you. Like I knew I was anxious before getting here. I knew why I was anxious. I knew how to reduce my anxiety. By the time I had to get on the mic, it was gone. Yeah. So understanding it from A all the way to D, and understanding it's just, okay, cool, I've got anxiety, but that's it. It's like, no, I really go inside, rummage around, and extract a whole new version of me without...
That's the deep level of honesty that a lot of people struggle with, I think, because I think what you're describing to me is the way I take is accountability. Like I'm very accountable for everything I do. I try and make myself aware of everything I do and everything around me. So every time I make a move, every time I take a step, I analyze it internally as well, and then I answer any questions that I have honestly, and then I'm able to then deal with it and handle it on the outside.
So what's your process then?
Well, my process in dealing with...
Like, so say, for example, you've got a real decision to make, like a life-changing decision. What's your step-by-step process to know what's the right answer?
You know, I really believe in gut feeling. I think gut feeling is something that is built in us to help us navigate through life. But then to truly develop your gut feeling, you have to experience life, as you said. You have to make mistakes. You have to learn from those mistakes, and then be able to know how it feels like to make those mistakes and come out of making those mistakes. And then you then develop that gut feeling to know what's right and what's wrong. Do you know what I mean? And then also I'm very accountable for everything I do and everything around me. So then I don't blame others as well. Because what tends to happen is when I blame others for my problems, I become a victim and then I feel weak. Do you know what I mean? I'm enabling other people to control me as a person, as an individual. So I just make decisions and then I take accountability. And whether it works or it doesn't work, I take upon myself. and then I learn from whatever results I gain from it. So to me, like, it's just wholehearted accountability.
That's interesting.
And then also, like, I go, like, I think one of the major things in life as well is like having like a clean slate. So by making sure that I have no hate in my heart as such, which is difficult.
Do you think it's possible?
I think it's possible, yeah. I think if you learn the art of forgiveness and not caring, do you know what I mean? Not caring for bad stuff too much. Do you know what I mean? You're able to navigate through life with a sense of peace. But obviously things can knock you for six. If something extreme happens to you or someone in your family, or do you know what I mean, you fail at a major project that you were expecting to succeed in, it's gonna hit you and you're gonna feel it as an individual. But if you're able to do things with a clean heart and knowing that you're not going around thinking that you got hate or anger towards any other individual, you're at peace most of the time. You're definitely at peace, because emotions are controlling. Like, if someone knows how to anger you, if someone knows how to push your buttons and trigger you, you're always going to be controlled. Because funny enough, I was watching. So I waited ages to watch When They See Us, the documentary.
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it?
No.
Hold off for a while before you watch it.
Right, cool.
So my reason being, because I saw all the reviews coming from it, like or from content online, from literature I was reading, and so forth. So I knew what was coming. So I had to take my time to really assess myself before I watch it, to make sure that I don't get emotionally controlled by whatever content I take, that I'm able to analyze it logically and think about processes and ideas to better my environment and other people like me's environment. Do you see what I mean? So when I do it that way, I'm able to then like stay calm and rationally view things without reacting, because reaction causes problems. You know what I mean? So that's how I go about it.
That's sick.
Yeah. It's a different method, but it works for me on a personal level. But everyone's got their own way of dealing with things and situations. Yeah,
I'm pretty similar, to be fair. I think I love learning and understanding how other people do things. I think I like, even sitting here now, like, I learned something new. Like, even from the minute I walked in. I'm like a sponge. I love learning. So I think the way, understanding that you do something similar to me, it may not be the same, but understanding it's similar, it's a breath of fresh air for me anyway. Because I don't really like, imagine if everyone did everything the same. It's just
that'll make for a dead world, man.
Dead world.
Yeah, that'll make for a dead world, man. Like, do you know what I mean? There should be differences. There should be like ideas that we can share off each other. Like, there should be difference in like intellectual ideas. There should be difference in how we look. Do you know what I mean? How we view the world, and it makes it more enjoyable, and we're able to then share cultures and ideas and move forward. Do you know? But if everyone, you
feel alive.
And that's why I love rappers like yourself, because I mean you're a proper rapper, and like the thing about with the music industry in general, like it shifts, and when it shifts, everyone shifts with it. So it's like if everyone's playing, if everyone's making a particular type of music, everyone kind of draws towards it. But like looking at your content, it's kind of stayed consistent and true in terms of it being very real and organic to who you are as a person. So
it has. If I'm being honest, I think the problem I had with like my last EP, if I'm being totally transparent, is when people spoke to me, the music didn't all the way, like, because, for example, like Back It Up.
The video I should have been in.
Next one.
Yeah, say no.
I think they would look at me on the surface and not think that I'd be as articulate as I was, or they would expect a rapper to be this way,
certain type of way.
Look at the video and be like, you're like that. Why are you like this when I talk to you? And it was hard to connect, like, me as a person to what they perceive me to be. Because of the style of music that was. But I think now I've kind of like I've always made introspective music. It's just hard when you're going to do all these shows and then you ain't got nothing to move the crowd. But yeah, I think I've always, as I've gone on, I've discovered who I am more.
100%.
So I've just externalized it more through the music. But yeah, man, I've always.
So is your art imitating life, basically?
100%, like 1,000,000%. To fault, actually, it's actually kind of scary, because when you do listen to the EP and you listen to the content on the EP, you get a real bird's eye view on like where my life is and who I am as a person. And sometimes that is a little bit scary, kind of sharing
it must be scary. Yeah. It puts you in a vulnerable position, doesn't it? Because it's like the whole world knows who you are now. Like there's. But then that's what makes people connect to music more, though, because if you're listening to music but you know that that's not the individual, that's not the person, that's when they get into the conversation about being real and not being real, because then it's like, is it authentically that? Do you know what I mean? Like if I meet this person, are they gonna be a representation of their music, or they're gonna come up to me and like have no substance to them? So yeah, it's definitely. And I mean, one thing I realized about you in particular, because obviously with what tends to happen with a lot of rappers is they make music in the bedroom, and then they kind of thrown on stage without having that previous like education of learning how to perform and learning how to like hold a crowd and stuff. You seem very confident in yourself. Where does that come from? Because
I get nervous, bro. Yeah, I get really nervous, but I practice. Like I go to rehearsal, and I practice more. Like I feel like I spent years practicing. So by the time I go and do one little show, to you, that's the first show. But to me, that's like the 900th, like the 500th show.
Yeah, that you done.
You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I can't really explain it. I think the same way you kind of create like a system and processes, I've kind of created like a comfortable process in my head where like I know what the intro is like, I know where my cue is, I know like I got my team in the crowd to know what's happening, when it's happening. I know when I'm going to do my crowd interaction. I'm not like, I've kind of got a formula in my head, just to kind of make it easier for myself. But I practice and then I try and make it look good, I guess. But I don't know, I'm still learning. I'm still trying to, I don't think I'll ever perfect it, but I'm still trying to become an excellent performer. Yeah. And, but yeah, man, I think if I'm being honest, I always compare it to like Batman and Bruce Wayne. Like for me right now, I feel like Bruce Wayne. Yeah. But
when you jump on the stage, you're Batman.
That's what it feels like. 100%. It's like I couldn't really tell you how I do it. I just do it. Like I can't really say.
No, I feel something similar to. I mean, when I first started doing the podcast, I remember my first couple of episodes actually. I used to just do a lot of listening, not a lot of talking, and that's because I was constantly in my head. So I was thinking about everything else, like the external, the end result. Like if I fluff my lines and mix up my words, and I'm very likely to do that because that's just how my brain processes things. Yeah. But then I reached the stage where I was like, nah, do you know what? This is what you enjoy. You enjoy conversation, so make it real as possible and just like be you. And in the podcast world, it's completely different because you can't be Batman and Bruce Wayne because you're having a conversation. So unless it was like a caricature type of thing and it was like a series where I'm creating like personas, but I have to be myself because I can't be anyone else because then the people are going to be watching me like, wait, hold on, that's not T Dog, that's not Francis. Do you know what I mean? So it's going to be weird. Like, but I definitely get that.
I understand that.
Yeah, having like an alter ego helps you push the barriers to the next level. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? That's like, you're like the fourth person that's like mentioned that. Like, just off the cuff, like in recent times. That's kind of weird. But that's interesting. Maybe I need to explore that a little bit more. But I think, I don't know what it is. I think, like even now, sitting at the podcast, like I know naturally, I tend to, sometimes I don't strike the first time in terms of what I want to say. It takes me like a good 3, 4, 5 times. But I think, that's
probably the pressures of having like a mic and camera and lights and everything else around, possibly.
Maybe. You know what? I think because if I was here and I knew that we didn't have like time constraints and me and you were just talking, like I'd still talk the same way. I'd still fuck up my lines. But yeah, maybe to a certain extent, knowing that there's a mic in my face, it does kind of make me think about what I want to say more. But yeah, I tend not to. I don't like to think too much. Yeah. Like when I'm in an environment like this, it's just like it just
is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is what it is.
Now, what's your inspirations like though? Like who are the people that like inspire you in terms of like your creative side?
I think my biggest inspiration recently is just, it sounds cliche, but it's just been life. Like I think fear has been a massive inspiration to me, because one thing I've realized about myself is when I feel like I'm scared or my back's against the wall, I do amazing things. So like I think when I listen to the EP and because each song is like a moment in a moment in my life over the past like 1 or 2 years, and I think at every single point I've been so scared. But then
for real.
Listening to the EP and listening to like the body of work, looking at the artwork, performing it, seeing how people react to it, it's like that whole body of work came out of being vulnerable and being scared and being fearful of not knowing what's going to happen next. And I think in hindsight, fear has been the biggest inspiration, because every time I'm scared and I had to jump on a stage, it ends up being something that I look back a year from now and I'm like, oh shit, if I didn't do that, and I was so scared, if I didn't do that, then I wouldn't do this. Like if I didn't, like I always told my boy, I was like, yo, if we didn't go and do this open mic in Brixton, some random open mic, that wouldn't have led to the next open mic at a platform called MOE. And then from there, a couple of years later, just doing like the tour, like, I couldn't have I didn't think to myself that I'd be able to sit here and be like, oh yeah, I just did like a little mini UK tour.
100%.
And
100%.
Yeah, man, it all just came out of fear in a weird way.
No, it's not actually strange, because I mean, I don't know if you read the book Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. It's just about it's about climatizing to stuff that you're afraid of. So it's like, if I'm afraid of speaking on stage, I should just do it anyway, and then eventually you'll climatize to the idea of being on the stage. So it's about taking that first initial step, and fear and adversity has been known to create some of the most incredible people in this world. Right. So people that come out of like major poverty and like rags to riches story, a lot that we hear about in America, and I'm sure there's some here in the UK as well. But so being in a position where there's nowhere to go but the top, so you're right at the bottom, like there's nothing else you can do. But then if you're able to then push through that barrier and get maybe like a little helping hand to take you from the bottom where you're stagnant, like those people come with the most passion and drive, because they know how it feels like to be right at the bottom. Do you know what I mean? Even in my personal life, I've been through situations where I'm like, whoa, like I know how I felt like being there. Do you know what I mean? I know I felt like being right at the bottom and nearly losing near enough everything. And then now you're so scared of getting back to that position where you felt like that, where you're like, no, I'm not going to have it. So now I'm actually going to wake up every day motivated and go for things and do things and make things happen. So fear and like, do you know what I mean, adversity is a fantastic motivator for those who are in dire situations and for those who are going through serious situations as well. So no, it's definitely not a strange thing. It's an amazing motivator.
You know, one thing that scares me about, one thing that I love and hate about that whole, the idea of fear is so imagine not having anything and getting it all, and then that's all you ever want and all you ever seek. Like, for me, like one of my biggest things is to become a dad. And I thought to myself,
oh, for real,
not having much and chasing everything, would that make me lose sight of the things that really matter, like my family, my friends, or even something as simple as being able to sit here and order a cookie dough. Like, that should, like, some people in the world, they can't do that.
No, definitely. Yeah. It's a major privilege,
Major privilege. And I think I don't ever want to lose sight of those little things. And sometimes I get scared that, well, no, not for me, but sometimes I look at other people and I'm like, please don't lose sight of the little things whilst you're on your journey to
That's amazing.
Get anything that you need to get.
So that's a sense of like gratitude as well. Yeah. So tell me about the dad part. What, like, because it's one of my biggest as well. Like, I definitely feel like it's something that I look forward to. It's like passing on legacy and being that teacher and handing over like the baton as such. As corny as that may sound, but like, what is it to you?
No, that's not corny at all, man. I think I share that same idea. Like, I think I don't just want to leave and that's it. But that does kind of sound a little bit selfish. I don't want to just have kids just to say I've had kids. I think for me, I want to know what it feels like to love something beyond me. Like, really love it. Like, you know when people say, having kids was like the best thing that's ever happened.
100%.
It's like, I want to know what that feels like. I want to know what it feels like to feel like you don't want to get up, but there's something that just spurs you to move. Like, I want to know what it feels like to love something so deeply that you're willing to go above and beyond. And I think having a family and having children and having a legacy to pass on will only kind of enhance my purpose, I guess.
100%.
Like, my purpose is to, like I said, innit, to help people acknowledge like self-awareness and a little bit more and challenge themselves a little bit more. And I think like my parents were my first teachers, so I'm going to be the first teacher for my kids. And I think being in a position to be able to teach and teach the right way and impute the right knowledge into another human being for them to go on and like do whatever they need to do is something I'm really big on too.
Yeah, that's it.
I thought, like, imagine if, like, God forbid, there are some like wicked humans that have been around. Imagine if you were like their son. Imagine what you would learn.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's like you're adding more badness into the world. Obviously, there's like good and bad. Like that's just the way the equilibrium like set. But like being like all the knowledge that you've got, like you need to pass that on.
100%.
Because if you don't, like who knows what you have? You might spark the next thing that kind of changes the whole, like that changes the next generation of youths that kind of come up. And I think everyone's important, man. Everyone that's got goodness in them, and everybody is important. I think naturally having kids would be the next best thing to
no, most definitely. I mean, looking back at some of my own boys that have recently had kids, like growing up, some of my guys, I was
jealous.
like, no, do you know what it is? Yeah, it's not even just that. It's like growing up, like some of my boys, I was like, oh, do you know what? I can't even see this guy as a dad. You know, he's too hardcore. Like he's too on it. Like he's too mad and that. But then the moment they became fathers, like their whole perspective of life changed. And it put them on a trajectory upwards. Like they were just doing so much better. They became more radiant. Like they became more positive and better people. And I was judging them, thinking, "Raw, this guy's gonna really struggle as a dad because not because he can't do it, but because of his persona and his personality and the way he is. But having a child that you're responsible for, like it puts you in a different state, especially as a man. That you're like, whoa, like I've really got to step up and do something. Especially if you're a well-to-do man. Do you know what I mean? Because some people just don't want to have nothing to do with their kids. But yeah, those that do, like they end up definitely changing for the better. And I've seen it firsthand. And I'm like, wow, okay, like. This experience is actually amazing. It does impact your life in a positive way, like completely.
I wonder why that is. That always intrigues me when...
It's deep because it's a part of you, I think.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's a part of you
like
that's more vulnerable. Yeah, I definitely think.
Yeah.
So obviously it's more than just the physical and passing on your genetics. I feel like it's a spiritual connection and you feel like, wait, I'm responsible for a part of me that's weaker and more vulnerable. So you naturally go in, especially if you're a good person, you naturally go into that state where you're like, okay, I have to protect this thing. I have to provide for this thing. I have to feed this thing with knowledge and food and nutritional stuff, and just to make sure that this thing grows up and becomes the best it can possibly be. So when you have that connection, it changes your realm of being. Do you know what I mean? You're naturally going to be like, rah, like I have to do something about this.
You know what? You learn so much about a person when they aren't living selfishly. I think when you give, like for example, there's certain people that certain close family members for me, they're selfish, like super selfish. And one thing that I love seeing is when they have to look after kids or look after, like give them a chore. Just see how they just handle things. Give them a little bit of responsibility and power and see what they do with it.
Yeah.
And I think I learn a lot when I watch and observe like new fathers or, and I see how they've just naturally kind of warmed and stepped up to the plate.
Yeah.
And obviously no one's perfect, but I think I love seeing transformations. I love seeing people not resisting like the natural sort of like, process.
Yeah, of what it's supposed to be.
That.
Yeah. But then there's more to that. You have to make sure that obviously you're a worthwhile father and you're actually doing the job that you're doing, and not just putting out kids and ignoring them, because then that leads to other social problems. But so touching back on the music, tell me about the new EP. Like how does it feel like releasing a new EP? What does it represent to you as an artist and as a person?
I think it's a pivotal moment for me because so first and foremost the EP is called From Me to You, and as you can imagine, from me to you, like the way I made it was, I when I initially started recording, I didn't really make it with any real intention to create a body of work, but when you listen to it, I wanted it to feel like I made these songs and I'm telling you my confessions, but just you. And I think I'm so proud of it, because not because I've made like a collection of songs. I'm proud because of what I've seen it do. Like I've had some real moments with other people. Like, for example, one thing that I love the most about the project is it sparked conversation. So now people don't even, they're like, oh, I don't like, they're not just saying, oh, I like your song or whatever. Now they're actually talking to me.
Yeah.
They're conversating with me. They're telling me about how they felt. They're really connecting with me. And I think for me, that's when I know I've done a good job.
Yeah.
And I think it's strengthened my relationship with my parents too.
Oh, for real.
And
Would you cover a lot of your relationship with your parents in the new EP?
Yeah, so on the outro, that's specifically, well, yeah, so the first 2 verses are about my mum and dad respectively, and then the last verse is just about a different situation. But I think, yeah, so I went to New York recently, and my dad actually heard the project.
Oh, sick, I like New York.
And
yeah.
I think what moved me was he actually cried.
Oh, for real.
And not just because I'm his son. He's a harsh critic.
Yeah.
So, not just because I'm his son, but I think he actually felt moved by what I did. And I think for me, that was, and so too my mum. And I think there ain't no better feeling than creating something and you don't even have time to be proud of it because everyone else is.
Yes, yeah.
You're just kind of soaking it all in. And I think for me, it gets overwhelming because like, you don't expect to create something for it to just like move people the way it actually don't really. I didn't really expect it, and I think, yeah, man. So,
no, that's amazing.
To you,
because I think sometimes we have our own individual stories, and we feel like no one can really relate to that story on a true level. But there's nothing new under the sun, and everyone's experienced something. But sometimes people don't have the voice to express what it is that they're going through. So then it's up to like artists like yourself who are conscious about what they're doing to then put out these real and truthful stories for others to feel it and then relate to it in a way. And it's kind of therapeutic for them in a sense.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of the feedback I've actually got. I think being able to be a voice for a community of people or for like-minded people was something that I never thought I'd be or wanted to be. But now that it's kind of happening, it's amazing to me because ultimately I want to actually help and do like put out some real quality stuff and have people connect with it and feel as though I've kind of filled a void in their life the same way music's done for me growing up. So yeah, man, if I can be that for people, then
that's amazing. But so when people come up to you in relations to the EP, what is the theme that they most talk about? What is the thing that people usually pick out the most, or is it like a variation of things?
So
it's like you don't want to bring up. No, bring it up, man, because people are gonna go and listen to it now. So so they might as well be prepared for what it is that they're in for.
I think so. In regards to my delivery, like it's very much from me to you. So the first question that I guess I always get is, "Oh, did that really happen?" Or "What was you going through when X happened?" Or "Yo, like I went through that. Here's my story." And I think naturally, it kind of starts with me and ends with whoever I'm talking to, because they just want to tell. They feel comfortable now to share their story.
Their story, yeah.
But yeah, man, I think I'm in a weird space where I got friends on like different ends of the spectrum.
Welcome to the my world.
So
I completely get it. Yeah, 100%.
And I'm bang in the middle. So I think like I speak for a wide array of people in a way. So a lot of the feedback that I have like got from people, it's been very different because they're all from different walks of life. But for the most part, people just felt comfortable telling me about their story, and
even the people from the spectrum that you wouldn't expect.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%. I can definitely relate to that, and I know exactly what it is you're talking about. Because even when I started doing the podcast, I was getting messages from dudes from back in the day that I wasn't expecting to get messages from.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I didn't know what type of message I would get from them, because they're not the type of people to want to be sitting down listening to like political discussions or ideas and ideologies and stuff like that. I'm not saying that they don't understand it, but they're just not interested in it. But the moment I started releasing the podcast, it was those guys that would message me being like, yo, like these conversations are quite interesting. Like I didn't know much about so and so it's like, keep doing your thing, bro, keep doing your thing. And it's like, so sometimes the assumption that people won't take to what it is that you're putting out there is crippling in itself. And you got to understand that as long as you're being true to who you are as an individual, there's always someone out there that's gonna take something of value from it. So it's great stuff, man, to just be brave and bold and put your truth out there. As an artist of any kind, whether it's your painting or singing or dancing or rapping, do you know what I mean?
I think, being honest, I think one thing that's helped is like I look like them. Like I can go chill with these man and still go chill with these man.
100%.
And like go all around the spectrum and still fit in. And I think like that's what struck me about you. Like I think we live in a world where we don't really see many people. Like I didn't see no one like you growing up. And if I did, it was like in passing or something. Like I didn't actually see anyone that I could sit down, watch, listen to, get knowledge from, or like all my olders weren't on them sort of things. So,
neither mine.
So like I think that's one of the major keys. Like them reaching out to you. I think they're just reaching out to someone that, because I think everyone wants this knowledge. I think everyone wants to like push forward. No one. Or not everyone, but I think
majority of people don't want to be stagnant or stuck in a bad place. Do you know what I mean? Nobody really likes pain and suffering. Like nobody does. Nobody likes to be stuck in the hood as such, or to be doing madness. Like it's not nice. Do you know what I mean? It's not comfortable.
Yeah.
Like.
But one thing I realized that everyone seems to shy away from is getting information from people that don't look like them.
Yeah.
So
100%.
like you can say the same thing as the person in power, but because you look the way we look, or you look the way they look, or whatever, I guess, I don't know whether it's a subconscious thing, but like when you talk, I listen straight away. Whereas if someone else did,
so he doesn't relate to who you are as a person. Yeah.
And I think I have that same effect with like the music. Like the way I interpret what is deemed, I guess, like, I don't know what you want to call it, but the way I deliver it, everyone can listen to it and listen to it the same way and feel it the same way. And I think
100%.
that's the power in what I do. And I feel like it's taken me a long time to recognize that. And I think it's the same thing with you and you doing a podcast. I don't think you recognize the power of what you're doing now, but then maybe 5 years from now, you'll look back and be like, shit.
It makes sense,
It makes sense.
No, I definitely appreciate that. And I definitely feel what you're saying, because like when I started podcasting, a lot of my influencers were people that didn't look like me. And when I started releasing the podcast, a lot of people that looked like me were like, oh, I've been waiting for stuff like this. But I'm like, wait, stuff like this is out there. You know what I mean? But you've probably come across it and be like, oh, this dude here, he doesn't look like me. He probably won't understand my story. Everything he's talking about is in relations to him and his people. Do you know what I mean? But it's there. But maybe I was just open-minded enough to see certain things. So that's why representation is good. Do you know what I mean? In that sense, that it gives other people that it gives them the confidence or the acknowledgement to see that, okay, cool, this person looks like me, so now I'm able to soak in the information more because it's authentic to my reality.
Yeah, that's literally it. I think I guess that's literally you hit the nail on the head. I think just having the representation makes you I don't know, it just kind of locks you into that same frequency. And I think you see it in other cultures, you see it in other walks of life, and I think it's needed more than ever with, I guess, people within our community.
Yeah.
But because like, I think one thing that you said, a lot of the people that I listen to or I take inspiration from or draw inspiration from now, that they don't look like me.
Yeah.
But I've had to, I guess, seek people that I just, you know what? I just see everyone as people. So I gravitate towards great people, or no matter whether you're homeless or whether you're whatever. But then I understand that representation is a lot for me, and I had the representations I had growing up were the typical stereotypical representations. And I think now more than ever, like mediums such as this, people are hungry for it. Like, hungry.
That's why the internet is such a beautiful place. I mean, regardless of all the other stuff, because I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the internet that's BS and that causes like it's divisive and stuff. But in terms of if you're looking for good stuff, if you're looking for direction, if you're looking for some inspirational stuff or educational stuff, it opens it up for you. Like there's tons of content and information out there, but you just have to navigate through everything else to find that, which is the hard part, because anyone and everyone can put information out there. I'm putting a podcast out there. I've got no training in podcasting. You know what I mean? I wasn't trained in journalism, but I just had an idea and a passion for something and I've done it. So the stuff is out there, but navigating through it is the hard part, because there's so much BS out there.
I know. I feel like I got a degree off the internet, brother.
100%.
I swear to you, man.
100%. I mean, our phones are a bunch of degrees now. Like, I can have a conversation with a professor and I can probably pull out more information he has in his brain on my device if he's not willing to use his device. So technically, I can have a conversation with a professor and be smarter than him because of this little device here. So we're kind of attached to it, and it's crazy to know that we've got all of this information and all of this content on these little devices. So if used right, the opportunities are endless. Do you know what I mean?
If used right.
If used right,
Used right.
Yeah.
But I think I love the fact that you aren't trained in what you do, because then I feel like I'm growing with you. So there's nothing that you can tell me that's kind of false, or you can't mislead me so much that when you're walking through like the shopping center and you meet them like super salespeople, and like they drop so many different like words on you that you don't understand, and they just sell you without you even realizing it. And it's like, yo, like if you were just real with me, then like maybe I would have bought more. But I think I love when people just aren't so like gone with it. Just like 100%. Just be raw. I think I appreciate the rawness a lot more than
yeah, you can sense the jargon when it's being thrown at you. But I've been a victim of, like, as you're talking about a salesman. I remember when I was actually buying the sofa, funny enough, and I was with one of my boys, Nas. We were in DFS now buying the sofa, and then the guy called his manager because he was talking about some insurance stuff, and I was like, look, this guy's not good at explaining what he's explaining. I was hella confused, and he was like, oh, do you know what, don't worry, I'll call my manager. His manager came through, and within 2 seconds he sold me like £200 worth of insurance and cleaning products that I didn't even need. Man. Do you know what I mean? Because he sold me so much jargon. I was stuck in a place and I got confused, and I kind of just like, okay, go take my money. And my boy was cracking up after when we left. He was like, boy, you just got done real quick there. And I was like, that's the danger of information. Sometimes if you don't know what you're taking in, you react, you put your money out there, and you're buying into products that you might not need or believe in. And that's the thing, when you turn on the internet now, you get ads being like, do you want to make $350,000 in 1 week selling? And we're thrown all of this stuff all the time, and we've struggled to sift through it because we don't have the knowledge of how to filter. It's hard word out there, especially the internet. It can be harsh. It can be harsh.
I have to plug out from time to time.
Yeah, 100%.
Detox, like, man will just literally delete all my apps.
Yeah.
Just flight mode, just after a certain time.
Yeah.
Just like really detox.
It's good to detox, 100%. What you got next, though? What's coming up? What's coming up for Tray?
Yeah, I need my phone. So I got some shows, but I forgot all the dates.
No, go and grab your phone, man. It's cool.
Where's the phone at?
Yeah, I think, where do you put it?
Yeah, you know what? So the first day, July the 12th.
July the 12th.
My boy Razor's got a headline show. So, yeah, if it's possible to put the link in the
100%. Send me through everything and I'll pop everything down.
Yeah. So I think that's the next show coming up.
Where's that?
A venue called Nambuka.
Okay. I
hope I'm getting the name right. I think it's in King's Cross. But
cool.
You know what?
All the details will be below anyway.
3 or 4 dates to give you. So yeah, drop the EP. The EP's out now.
Sick. Check that out.
On everything. Anywhere you can listen to music, that's where it'd be.
Yeah.
And I'm in the process of recording an acoustic version for the EP. So that's coming, and then we're gonna do the rollout for the videos. So yeah, the videos, the acoustic version of the EP, and then the 1 or 2 shows a month. And now I've started my own platform.
Yeah, so I got a link for that. Yeah. I'll definitely be turning up to the next one. I know the first one sold out real quick. Can you tell the people what the platform is all about? Yeah,
so basically it's a discussion-based platform hosted by myself. And we just get together and we discuss topics on social awareness and emotional intelligence. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell. It's an alternative turn up. So if you don't want to go out, you don't want to go to the typical networking event or whatever, it's an alternative turn up, and like it's literally just like this. Like we do it in a space where you feel comfortable enough that it feels like your bedroom. So intellectual conversation in the comfort of your own home, essentially. And it's hosted by myself. But,
amazing. Yeah, I'll definitely be turning up to the next one because I'm a big believer in conversation. I feel like that's how we rectify things, and we're able to then share and also like correct each other where each other are wrong and understand each other as well. So without dialogue, we're gone. Like there's no existence. So we should always fight for the freedom of dialogue and idea sharing. And whether it's a radical or wrong idea, if I don't know what you're thinking, it's hard for us to then reason and come up to what is good for everyone. Do you know what I mean? So really appreciate that. But before you leave, I'm going to ask you one last question. So what would your advice be for any upcoming musician getting into the industry, like any young bucks out there that want to get into this industry of music making? From one of the lessons that you've learned, like the hard way.
I think I would say that really understand where you want to be. Understand where you want to be ahead of time and work backwards. So just ask yourself, like, almost do like an audit on yourself.
Yeah.
And understand where you are and understand where you want to be, and then fill in the blanks. And actually, you know what, as well, one thing I would say is get a job.
100%.
Make sure that you've got some sort of steady income or multiple incomes, because music is very expensive if you want to do it at the level that you want to do it at.
And as a creative as well, it's hard to think and create when you're under the burden of bills. Like,
100%.
do you know what I mean? I think as a society, a lot of people are constantly living in a state of desperation, like because of bills. So we've got bills to pay, we've got debt to clear off, we've got people that are relying on us financially. And when you've got those burdens, it's hard to be creative, it's hard to think, it's hard to step out of the box and become great, because you're burdened by a deep sense of like desperation in essence, and you're constantly forcing it. So yeah, definitely appreciate that. But Tray, we're definitely gonna have you on again. Like, I'm sure we're gonna have a lot more chats, and I'll definitely be turning up to your next event, even though the last one sold out. So people need to make sure that they definitely turn up to it. It's gonna be great. Like-minded people just sitting down, reasoning, talking, and just generally growing and being better. So appreciate you coming down today, and hopefully catch you again. Yeah, cool.
Safe.
Nice one, bro.
Appreciate it. Thank you, bro.
Yeah, appreciate it. I'm definitely gonna put you
I need all the help I can get. Likewise, man.